Welcome to OtakuDaiKun. Dai here, and this video's been a long time coming. Earlier in my channel's history, I made a video on dubbed nightmares in anime, listing off English dubs that make my skin crawl. Sometimes the dub is bad because of lackluster voice talent, but far more often it's because there was a terrible director at the helm. Oftentimes an ADR director will either take too much creative liberty over the script, or be far too lax with the source material and line readings. But we've been through the bad stuff for now. It's time to look at anime with dubs, dare I say, that are actually more or just as enjoyable in English than the original Japanese. This might sound hypocritical, given my lecture about making changes, but do acknowledge that making a solid dub requires some finesse. That said, whenever I praise a dub for its originality, I hope you realize that there's a drastic difference in why and how changes are made. None of the dubs being mentioned here ever change plot points or betray character personalities. It goes without saying that these are my opinions, so bear that in mind and let's have some fun. Cowboy Bebop. Let's get the most obvious one out of the way. Cowboy Bebop's dub is rated by some to be the best damn English dub ever made. I can't really blame them. First off, Cowboy Bebop is an anime with widely Western themes, lending itself to English more than Japanese. Beyond that, it caught a number of voice actors in their prime, namely Steve Blum as Spike and Wendy Lee as Faye Valentine. Given the characters are mostly adults and the story is mature, I feel it allowed the ADR staff to genuinely make a dub that didn't have to sound like a kid's show. Now, Mary Elizabeth McGlynn did take some creative liberty, especially when adapting characters like Ed, introducing an almost song-like pattern of speaking. But it's easy to tell that these decisions were made with a very thorough understanding of the characters in mind.
I had gotten a hold of a real Ganymede rock lobster. I hid it in the fridge in the stockroom so no one else would eat it. But I had forgotten about it and left it there for a whole year.
I'd actually prefer payment in cash. I'm not a pawn shop, you know.
Well, it's
A mystery space creature! Spooky! The attack of the horrible alien!
A man keeps his word.
Herbal medicine? That's Will? Smells like day-old roadkill soaked in sour milk and maggot juice.
More like rotten soybeans and turpentine.
Oh, yeah.
Full Metal Alchemist. The dub for Full Metal Alchemist, both the original anime and Brotherhood, feature an amazing ensemble of voice actors that really show Funimation at its prime. What works so well about this dub is the sheer amount of time the actors had to embody their characters, playing them in 2 series, 2 movies, and a fair amount of OVAs. You can tell it truly left an impression on its actors' lives. The real shout-out here is Vic Mignogna, a guy in his 40s who manages to convincingly play a young child and teenage boy, Edward Elric. His performance is very different from that of Ed's Japanese seiyuu, Romi Paku, but brings just as much passion and conviction to the role.
Give him back! He's my brother! Take my leg! Take my arm! Take my heart! Anything you can have it!
Hey, you! Don't mess up my auto mail! You know how hard I worked on that!
Hell, if it's half as hard as to throw a wrench, I'd be surprised!
Full Metal Panic. Honestly, Full Metal Panic came out at the peak of ADV's golden age. The anime's blend of action and comedy lent itself very well to ADV's more exaggerated directing, and features a handful of actors' most iconic roles. I personally feel this brings together the best work of Chris Patton, Lucy Christian, Greg Ayers, and Hilary Haig, all bundled into one. Hell, for all the praise I give Vic for his role as Edward, I honestly think he fits even better as the playboy Kurtz Weber. Chris Patton as Sosuke Sagara especially works well because he seems both stern and clueless. In a good way.
Look, I'm not falling for it! Now wake up, will ya?
Konami, don't be so rough with...
Shut up! It's your fault, too! You left yourself open! No, I don't mind. Just go ahead and fire.
Fire what?
Let's be good friends. Just call me Kurtz, baby.
Excuse me, Kurtz, baby?
I didn't say the boys could cut out!
Ow. Tessa, you all right over there?
What if I try to go around this side? Damn, there's no opening.
I think I stepped on a landmine.
You think what? Go and burn the image of those girls into your mind! Pass it on to the next generation! Tell them the tale of the victory we earned here!
Golden Boy. Golden Boy is an anime I mentioned in my first retro anime list. It's one of the few times I think a creative overhaul of the source was able to work wonders for an anime's dub. It's very rare when such extreme direction actually works out, so I'm inclined to call this a fluke. But if you compare the English and Japanese voices for Kintaro Oe, the anime's protagonist, there's a drastic change in tone, with the English version being far more exaggerated. It's one of those cases where the animation seems far more intense than the Japanese dub, whereas the English seems to match better with the intensity.
私についてこれたら根性を認めてあげるわよ。
主任！感激！
Hey, what are you doing? If you can keep up with me, I'll admit that you're not a total wimp.
Yes, ma'am! Dominate me!
神聖なプールで何考えて泳いでたの？
主任の持っている野生が俺の野生を目覚めさせたのです。野生の瞳。
What were you thinking about in the sanctuary of the pool?
The wild beast inside you has awoken the wild beast inside me! Oh, the wild eyes of a beast! Suck it to me!
Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. I generally love dubs produced in California, most of them being recorded at Bang Zoom because they rarely ever produce cringy moments and are very authentic to the source material. In that vein, we have one of Bandai's best dubs produced for Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. It pits a lot of great veteran talent in just the right roles. Michelle Ruff makes a great Yoko, emphasizing her caring maternal nature. Dave Bridges as the hot-headed Kamina, and Yuri Lowenthal bringing just the right energy to Simon as both a child and an intense mecha pilot. He can sound like a whiny, scared kid, but also follows him into becoming a very aggressive young man with some of the best English battle screaming.
Simon, yours is the drill that will break through the vault of heaven!
But why?
I have it all figured out. Don't ask questions.
Hey!
You've got guts plowing into my village like this. You and that big ugly mug of yours, you know that?
We're done for. It's so cramped.
Hey, quit making all those weird little sounds over there.
Damn it! Power! Need more power!
Nice to meet ya. What is this little furry thing that's been hiding out in my cleavage?
Gurren Lagann! Spin on! Who the hell do you think I am?
Kill la Kill. Don't get me wrong, I love the Japanese audio for Kill la Kill. Ami Koshimizu plays the perfect Ryuko Matoi with her tough yet feminine gangster attitude. That said, I was so surprised to hear just how one-to-one the English dub was in both emotions and voice matching. Literally, the vocal quality of each actor sounds just like their character's Japanese counterpart. I know it's not always necessary to have such a close match, as a new voice can be a new take on a character, but I certainly do love hearing it when it works.
なんだこのハレンチな格好は Oh my god, what kind of kinky outfit are you? お前らの学生服なんか瞬殺してやる行くぞ鮮血 I'm gonna shred those Goku uniforms right off your bodies! Come on, seconds!
リュウコちゃんは私を助けてくれたんです。勝負に負けたかもしれませんが、友情で勝ってます。If Ryuko hadn't stepped in and saved me yesterday, I'd be totally dead right now. So even though technically she lost the match, because of friendship, she totally won.
さすがカムイ、この剣を受けるとは。覚えておくぞ、マトイリュウコ。
Just as I thought, Kamuis are quite powerful. You have my attention, Ryuko Matoi.
This video is brought to you in part by HelloTalk, an amazing app for learning languages through social exchange. If you've ever wanted to learn a language, perhaps Japanese, then HelloTalk may be perfect for you. As a supplement to hitting the books or taking classes, the HelloTalk app provides you efficient tools to learn by speaking directly with fluent speakers of your target language. It's a mutual exchange between yourself and partners, teaching each other through text, voice, and even video communication. It comes filled with translation tools to help the process along, offering a unique experience that formal education can't match. A ton of practical knowledge I have about Japan came from interacting with a pen pal I made online, which turned into a solid friendship of cultural exchange. With HelloTalk, getting that genuine experience is easier than ever. It's totally free for the first language, and you can get it for both iOS and Android devices. To get started, simply click the link in the top right or the link in the description below. Danmachi. Is it wrong to try and pick up girls in a dungeon? When ADD Films sorta mutated into Sentai Filmworks and began releasing dubs in the same facility, they had a very rocky start, with some awful work on Clannad and Angel Beats especially. It seemed their carefree approach to pronunciation and scripting was alienating them from the rest of the dubbing market. In light of that, they've been surprising me with certain new releases, with Danmachi being Sentai's best work yet. The element that ties it all together for me is Lucy Christian's portrayal of Hestia. She needed to sound genuinely caring and outwardly silly, and Lucy nailed it, making a character I didn't originally care much about into one of my absolute favorites.
So, why don't we turn dinner into a wild party? Get ready. You're not gonna get any sleep tonight.
Can we just go ahead and eat?
Well, I don't mind. I think I'd like it to be just you and me for now. Never mind. Oh, it must be really hard for you to bear such an incredible burden all by yourself, Belle.
Don't worry about me.
Tales of Berseria. Many times an ADR director hires a particular seiyuu. They do it for more iconic vocal qualities, for the sake of recognition. In light of this, it's nice to hear a voice actor take their performance in a completely different direction, showing off their full potential rather than being a one-trick pony. For me, Tales of Berseria features the best performance yet by the talented Christina V. She plays Velvet, a grim, tortured woman with a constant sense of dread, which is totally in contrast to her usual, more cheerful and light-hearted performances. I honestly couldn't even tell it was her at first. She's great at screaming in a rage as she swings her Therian claw. It's so damn visceral and satisfying. And then there's Magilu, an amazing cherry on top.
But honestly, does anyone care about my suffering? No!
This world was built on his life. And now you and your fellow exorcists fight because you want to protect it. And I will burn it!
But the worst part is that I escaped from that wretched prison only to find a dragon and some second ships! I'm feeling quite fragile. You understand, right?
That is my name. Make sure Artorius knows. Velvet Crow is coming for him!
Fate Stay Night. I was first indoctrinated to Fate Stay Night via the 2006 anime by Studio Dean. In that, I acknowledge that there's some weird script changes, especially with Archer and its Unlimited Bladeworks chant. However, in particular, I fell in love with Saber, played by Kate Higgins at the time. She was pretty much the one-to-one equivalent of the original seiyuu, so I was devastated when I found out that Kate wouldn't be reprising her role in the Unlimited Bladeworks movie, or either of the Ufotable adaptations. That said, when I first heard the dub for FateZero, the performance Carrie Walgren gave to Saber really grew on me, and I think Carrie's performance embodies pride and bravery in a way that no other English actress had done before with the character. I tend to test dub actors and actresses by listening for key scenes or lines that blew me away in Japanese, to see if that impact could be replicated in the dub. These two moments were when I solidified my praise for Carrie Walgren.
Destroy the Holy Grail. But, King Arthur,
I'm sorry. I am unworthy.
Also, Mela Lee has played Rin Tosaka since the beginning, and I absolutely love her voice, almost more than her Japanese one.
Well? Look, I can't make any promises about your height, but I am willing to bet that you're gonna be great looking. What would you think if I said that was guaranteed, huh?
What do? Some kind of push-up routine every night before you go to bed?
I do, actually. I like it. So what?
Code Geass. The dub for Code Geass came during the golden age of Bandai, featuring some amazing West Coast talent. Many of the actors, such as Johnny Young Bosch, Yuri Lowenthal, and Michelle Ruff, had become staples in most hit anime, much to some critics' dismay. But if I were to pick out some of their best roles, this anime would be at the top for all of them. Yuri plays a great goody two-shoes, with attitude and ferocity in Suzaku, and Johnny nails the cunning ambition of Lelouch. Kate Higgins, who's not nearly as prolific as she should be, plays C2 with a calm, feminine majesty.
All I have left are my memories from when I was a witch. Other than that, I don't even know if I was ever human to begin with. Every person who has ever hated me, and each and every one that has shown me any kindness, are gone forever. They vanished into the current of time.
Your very existence is a mistake! You need to be erased from the face of the earth! I'll take care of Nunnally! Suzaku! Lelouch!
Persona 4. Again, because most are dubbed in California, I tend to think that most JRPGs are very solid, with Persona 4 being a golden example. While not all the actors were able to reprise their roles from the PS2 version of the game, nearly all variations of the cast have been solid. The reason I prefer the dub of this game is mainly due to a single character, Teddy, or Kuma in Japanese. This guy is one of the most annoying characters in Japanese, grinding away at my eardrums with his inhuman cacophony. His portrayals in English are a lot more bearable, if you know what I mean.
間違いないクマね。クマの鼻がビンビン感じてるクマ。
おい。
クマを置いてかないでクマ。
There is no doubt about it! My snout has even locked onto her scent! Hey! Don't leave my berry behind!
Koenokitake. I'm starting to consistently save the best for last with these lists, and that trend continues with the dub of Koenokitake. I saw this anime dubbed in theaters just recently, and I can honestly say it's, in my opinion, the best dubbed anime, period. Given that the premise features a deaf girl being bullied, I think it really helps to hear the heroine in your native language. It makes it easier to sympathize with her, as well as imagine if we had to communicate with her ourselves. That aside, one thing is simple. I felt way more immersed and emotionally involved in the dub than I did watching it a year prior in Japanese. Every single voice in the dub sounded genuine and believable, without seeming melodramatic. Oh, and for the record, Boss Baby can go fuck itself.
Start reading from here. There was an awkward silence. His mother looked at him and waited. She shook her head and said, "You need to stop being so stubborn all the time."
Shoya, you're next.
You gotta be kidding.
Oh my god. What? You're such a freak!
I'm helping
What are you even saying?
I was wondering, can me and you, Shoko, can we be friends? Is that an option?
The shitty stalker has his own shitty stalker. Makes you two a load of crap. I called out your bullshit, which makes
That
you
doesn't
a
sound
piece
good.
of shit.
What's going on out there? That sounds like Yuzuru.
Tell me what they're saying.
Who was that loser you were with? I have never seen him before in my life. He was disgusting.
Shut up, liar!
Contrary to what you might believe, I actually love English dubs when they're done right. If a studio can avoid butchering the script and keep firm control over the sincerity of its performers, dubs can be a wonderful way to experience an anime. I suppose it doesn't really matter if you can speak Japanese, but a huge chunk of Western anime fans have a love for anime that's easier to digest in English. When done right, it can feel more natural and immersive. This is just a small handful of dubs that I think are wonderful to watch, and I welcome you all to suggest your own in the comments below. Definitely be sure to tell me why you think the dubs worked out so well. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider supporting the channel by becoming one of my honorable patrons. Donating starts as little as $1 a month, and larger contributions can get you early access to my videos, as well as editing advice and the chance to request a video of your choosing. If you want to make a one-time donation, you can use Super Chat during one of my live streams. Your contributions help this channel grow, allowing me to devote myself full-time to making you all more ambitious videos more often than ever before. Beyond that, feel free to subscribe to OtakuDaiKun for more anime lists, reviews, discussions, lore videos, let's plays, and more holy waifu wars. Until next time, celebrate your fandom.